When the CEO's daughter spilled her drink on me, she didn't apologize. She looked at me, the waiter, and said, "You should be grateful you get to serve people like us." Her friends laughed. I wiped my shirt, smiled, and said nothing. A week later, she came back to the same restaurant, only this time I wasn't serving the table. I owned it. My name is Daniel Reed, and I grew up believing hard work could take you anywhere. Turns out, it takes you somewhere, but not fast enough to impress people like Chloe Turner. Chloe was the daughter of Martin Turner, CEO of a massive property group. Their family practically owned half the city, restaurants, hotels, and luxury apartments. Me. I grew up in a one-bedroom apartment over my dad's mechanic shop. When he passed away, I dropped out of college to keep the bills paid. I worked as a waiter at the Crescent, a high-end restaurant downtown. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work. And every tip I earned, every shift I took, went straight into savings. Because I had a dream. One day, I wanted to own a place like this. Not serve in it, own it. It was a Friday evening, full house. Music playing softly, glasses clinking. Chloe walked in with 4 of her friends, all dressed like they'd stepped out of a magazine. They didn't even glance at me when I greeted them. "Welcome to the Crescent," I said with my best professional smile. She didn't look up. "Yeah, sure, just bring the wine list." I did, and that's when it happened. As I leaned forward to place the glasses, she flicked her hair back and her drink spilled across the table, all over my shirt. She gasped dramatically, then smirked. "Oh no, guess someone's going to need to clean up." Her friends laughed. One of them whispered, "Maybe he likes being wet, it's part of the job." I felt my ears burn, but I didn't say a word. I just smiled, apologized, and stepped away. Because I'd learned something long ago, when people like her laugh at you, you don't argue, you wait. Over the next hour, they kept calling me over, snapping fingers, making comments, and pretending not to hear when I asked questions. When I brought the check, Chloe didn't even hand me her card. She looked at her friend and said loudly, "God, imagine living your whole life serving other people. How sad." Her friend giggled. I said softly, "Someone has to make sure your dinner is perfect." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Then you're doing your job, aren't you?" I smiled. "Yes, ma'am, I am." And in that moment, something shifted inside me. I realized I wasn't angry. I was motivated. You see, I'd been saving for 5 years. Every spare dollar, every bonus. My goal was to buy a small cafe. But that night, I made a decision. I wasn't just going to open a cafe, I was going to own something bigger. The restaurant I worked at, the Crescent, had been struggling for months. The owner, an older gentleman named Mr. Halverson, often stayed late doing paperwork. One night, after closing, he sighed and said, "Danny, I think I'm done. The city's changing, and I can't keep up." Something in me clicked. "Would you ever sell?" I asked. He looked surprised. "You want to buy this place?" "I don't have enough yet," I admitted, "but I believe in it. And I believe I can make it thrive again." He smiled faintly. "You remind me of myself 30 years ago. 3 months later, it happened. Mr. Halverson's accountant called me. He was ready to sell. The asking price was steep, but I wasn't alone anymore. I'd been networking with some small investors, local business owners who'd seen my work ethic. They agreed to help if I managed operations. So, I signed the deal. A few late nights later, the paperwork was done. The Crescent, the same restaurant where I'd been humiliated, now belonged to me. I didn't change much at first, kept the same staff, same name, just better service, better atmosphere. Within 6 months, revenue tripled. We added live jazz nights, local ingredients, and a personal touch customers loved. The city newspaper called it the comeback of the year. And I thought I'd moved on. Until one night, almost exactly a year later, she came back. Chloe Turner, same arrogance, different outfit. This time, she wasn't laughing. She looked stressed, maybe desperate. She was meeting with 2 older men, investors. From the sound of it, I watched from my office camera for a second, then walked out to greet her myself. "Good evening," I said calmly. "Welcome back to the Crescent." She blinked, confused. "Do I know you?" I smiled. "We've met before. You spilled your drink on me once." Her face turned pale. "Oh, you still work here?" "No," I said softly. "I own it." The table went silent. Her investors looked at her, eyebrows raised. One of them chuckled. "You didn't mention your friend ran this place." She tried to laugh it off. "Daniel, right? Good for you." I nodded politely. "Enjoy your meal." And as I walked away, I could feel the silence behind me, the kind that burns deeper than any insult ever could. A few weeks later, fate decided to serve desert. One of my business partners, a property manager, Called me about a new deal. A luxury complex downtown was being foreclosed due to unpaid loans. Guess who owned it? Turner Properties. Martin Turner's company. Asterisk the same one Chloe bragged about her father running like a kingdom. Asterisk we bid on the property and won. Asterisk among the assets included in the purchase were several retail spaces. Asterisk one of them. A boutique cafe run by, you guessed it, Chloe Turner. It had been her passion project. Now it was ours. A week later, I walked into her cafe with a clipboard and a soft smile. She was arguing with a supplier, frustration written all over her face. When she saw me, she froze. Asterisk, what are you doing here? I handed her a letter. Official notice. The property's under new management. I'm the new owner. Asterisk, she stared at the paper, her hands trembling. Asterisk, you're evicting me. I nodded gently. Not evicting, just reclaiming what's mine. She sank into a chair, speechless. For the first time, there was no arrogance in her eyes. Just realization, I wasn't cruel. Asterisk, I didn't shout. I simply said, you once told me serving others was sad. But maybe it's not the job that defines us. Asterisk, it's how we treat people while doing it. And with that, I left. 2 months later, her cafe closed. Asterisk mine, the Crescent had expanded to 2 new locations. One night, as I was closing up, my manager handed me a note. It was from Chloe. Asterisk, I was wrong. You didn't just serve tables, you served your dream. Asterisk, and you earned every bit of it. I'm sorry. I folded the letter, smiled, and said quietly, some lessons can't be taught in business school. Respect people no matter where they stand, because someday, the person serving your table, asterisk, might own the building you're sitting in.